Please welcome Akie Bermiss and Cecily Bumbray.
Morning light, silken dream, take flight as the darkness gives way to the dawn. You've survived, now your moment has arrived, now your dream has finally been born. Black butterfly, sail across the waters. Tell your sons and daughters what the struggle brings. Black butterfly, set the skies on fire. Rise up even higher, so the ageless winds of time can catch your wings. While you slept, the promise was unkept, but your faith was as sure as the stars. And the world has come to see just how proud and beautiful you are. Black butterfly, sail across the water. Tell your sons and your daughters what the struggle brings. Black butterfly, set the skies on fire. Rise up even higher, so the wind can catch your wings. Let the current lift your heart and send it soaring. Write your timeless message clear across the sky, so that all of us can read it and remember when we need it, that a dream conceived in truth can never die. Butterfly. Now you're free, and the world has come to see just how proud and beautiful you are. Black butterfly, sail across the waters. Tell your sons and your daughters what the struggle brings. Black butterfly, rise up even higher. Let the whole world know your story, and let the ageless wings of time catch your wings. Ooh, butterfly.
The body of work that we do is really based on keeping young black males alive.
There's so many young brothers that have not had benefit of a father figure.
Most of their role models are gang members because that has become their family.
You know, we don't have a kid problem, we have an adult problem.
The mainstream media are too frequently part of the problem.
A lot of our young men don't realize the positivity that they have in themselves because no one has ever told them.
You are on the front lines of the war that I think all black people need to be fighting.
I think that we are at a really critical point in the field of black male achievement. There has been an increasing cry in philanthropy and government for data, for impacts. Show me what's working. Why should we continue with this issue? This forum, this Innovation and Impact Forum, is really a day-long testimony and celebration of lifting up what is working in the field. There are philanthropists that are poised to invest deeper, poised to place their first bets on black male achievement. And this is a day, particularly with business leaders, where they have an opportunity to get a wide scan of the field. What has happened over the previous generation, previous 20 years, and most importantly, where are we going? Today's theme is really about where do we go from here?
Nothing is impossible if we believe it. We don't believe it because people make us feel like it's not true. It can't happen. And images reinforce that.
I would like to see the other side, so the resiliency stories, that 2 out of 3 black men aren't involved with the criminal justice system. So what I want to see is stories that not just talk about us surviving, but talk about us thriving.
Black males are starting to advance politically. We have our first black president. So there's a lot of things for us to celebrate.
People from all walks of life are getting more engaged in this work. It's not just a black men's problem. It's women are concerned, people from other races are concerned, but it has to be our issue.
Many leaders and organizations have sacrificed so much for us to get here. And I would want them, those that are here today and those that are unable to be here today for whatever reason, to know that their work was not in vain, that their work was part of the building blocks that have brought us to this point today. This Impact and Innovation Forum is not about one foundation. It is not about one organization. It is about how can we come together and pool our collective will and our collective resources to make lasting change once and for all on this issue.
In our work, transformational leadership is so important because of the complexity and diversity of issues that we must address.
If we want to reduce the likelihood that young men will go to jail, we have to begin to teach young men critical life skills and leadership development.
To love them, to affirm them, to correct them, to hold them accountable is something that we already have the ability to do.
The real deficit is not black men and boys. The real deficit is the rest of America that loses the benefit of the black men and boys that we've marginalized. Really, what I want to see is all of us to benefit from unleashing all that capacity, all that potential into our community. What would the world look like when that is no longer limited?
That growth that we're trying to stimulate is going to have to take a collective effort in organizations like yourselves to come together to support these grassroots organizations to continue to do the good work that they're doing and to continue to provide the opportunities, because every child has the ability. Many of them just don't have the resources.
We see what's happening with black men and boys as America's unfinished business. And it's going to take philanthropy, it's going to take business, it's going to take government, and it's going to take grassroots leaders and leaders of national organizations to come together to make this happen.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Gregory Hodge.
Bania, bania, bania manding. Bania, bania, bania manding. Ali, ali, atinja, kosana dumbe. Kakaban matsa, muya, muya, se kendi. Wanti o baba. Many money, oh, wana, wana. Bania manding, bania, bania, bania manding, bania, bania, bania manding. Ali, ali, atinja, kosana dumbe. Kakaba mansa, muya, muya, sekande. Wanti o baba, mini mani o wana, wana, bani yamandi. In Africa, they say if you can talk, you can sing. If you can walk, you can dance. By show of hands, how many people know how to clap? Raise your hand if you know how to clap. All right. If you know how to clap in rhythm, raise your hand again. We're going to find out. Just do this for me. Bambo, canapa, bambo, aye, bambo, canapa, aye. Libera yuko yuko na batajo, bamba seta na canapa, bambo, canapa, bambo, aye, bambo, canapa, aye. Libera yuko yuko na batajo, bamba seta na canapa. Give yourselves a big round of applause this morning. We want to welcome you into this space. As is the tradition of all of our communities, we always have traditions that help us remember, reflect, and renew. When people get together in traditional cultures, they clap, they sing. You've become part of the music today. Everything that you do in your work on behalf of black boys is done for one reason. It's done out of love. Love brought us here today. Say Ashe. Ashe is a word from the Yoruba tradition which means let it have force, let it have vitality, let it have life. When we gather in West Africa, where this drum is from, this kutero is from the Gambia, the Jola community, and they call it the Bantaba. In Mexico, they call it Zocalo. In New England, they call it the Plaza. In Rome, they call it the Palace. In my hometown, in Pineville, Arkansas, they call it the barbershop, the beauty shop. In Brooklyn, it's the stoop. Wherever you are, wherever you sit, wherever you have meaningful conversation, we invite spirit into the room. No matter what name you put on it, sometimes called Amun-Ra, sometimes called Jehovah, sometimes called Allah, sometimes called Yahweh. My grandmother said simply, I am that I am. You can call it love. We come here today in the tradition of our community. African men, African American men, men of African descent are contributors, are assets, are powerful members of their families, their communities, their churches, their mosques, their neighborhood associations. And today, wherever you sit, and we thank all of the organizers, the funders, we thank the mayors who are here, we thank, first of all of you. You're the best and the brightest. If we can't do it, it can't be done. If we can't save our children, it can't be done. So today we pour a libation to remember the contributions of those who came before us. We reflect on the people in our lives or historical figures who made a sacrifice so that we might be here today. You're not here just because of you. Ashe? You're here because some parent, auntie, teacher, coach, someone made a sacrifice so you could be sitting here in this moment, in this place, to have this conversation. We invite you to renew yourself with inspiration. Renew yourself with good ideas. Renew yourself, because it's all right to have inspiration, and it's all right to have ideas, but what are we going to implement? Ashe? So we pour libation using water as a symbol of purity and of life. We pour a little bit on the ground and we say to our ancestors, come and be with us in this moment, and we say Ashe. We pour libation today for ancestors from the Nile Valley who built pyramids and created writing systems and created systems of life so that when little black boys are sitting in middle schools in Oakland, California, they should know your ancestors invented mathematics. And if you're having trouble, remember them. Ashe? We pour libation today for our ancestors in Mali, Songhay, and Ghana who were traders and artisans and artists. People who were caught up into a slave trade that treated them as chattel slavery, but we always knew it's not what they call you, it's what you answer to. Say Ashe. Somebody know what I'm talking about. We pour libation today for those in their generations who represented positive change, who represented struggle. For Harriet Tubman, we say Ashe. For Frederick Douglass, for Sojourner Truth, for Denmark Vesey and Nat Turner and John Brown and all of those abolitionists who knew that human beings could never be slaves. We pour libation today for our teachers, for George Washington Carver, for W.E.B. Du Bois, for men and women who taught in one-room schoolhouses in Mississippi and Texas and Missouri and wherever they might have been so you could go to Spelman and Howard and Stanford and Oxford and Harvard. Ashe? We pour libation today for those unsung heroes, those grandmothers, those grandfathers who did all that they could. And just right now, just call out the name of someone who you bring into the room today. Just call the names out. Call them out. Call them out. And we close this libation and we say it 3 times and wish us the best of days. Say it, Ashe, Ashe, Ashe. All right, we're in.